This is Southern Middle School's Telesurvey Data Analysis. Your presenter is Inquiry Reed in EAD 812. So let me begin by telling you a little bit about Southern Middle School. It's a low income school, and it's planted right outside of a government housing area. So we have students from that neighborhood as well as students from Veterans Park Elementary, which is one of the highest scoring elementary schools in the state. So that's a bit of a population contrast there. We are a growing population. We currently have about 700 students, 6th through 8th grade, and next year we are already projected to be almost 800 students. So our overall general results at Southern were very positive compared to the state and the district. So for the past several years, we've had 100% of our educators at Southern submit the survey, and only about 91% of the educators across the state participate in the survey. So I think this just goes to show and suggest that we know our feedback is valued at Southern, and we know that it does make a difference, and that we take pride in our school and its progress and improvements. So one of the first categories where there was some significance was managing student conduct. So we scored above the state rating in that our school administrators support our discipline in the classroom. So in future categories, we talk there some of the other categories where we ranked above the state was in that our teachers are trusted as educators and viewed as professionals. So I think this is just consistent across the board. And we were equal to the state rating in that our students at the school understand expectations, and our administrators even enforce the expectations, but our students don't always follow the rules, which that may just be the nature of middle school, but that was one of our low areas. So the next category is teacher leadership. This is another one of our very strong areas on the survey. So above the state rating, teachers reported that we're recognized as educational experts, and we're trusted to make sound professional decisions about instruction in our classroom, and that we devise our own teaching techniques. Areas that we were equal to the state is that we, have not much say in selecting new teachers, which makes sense because the administrators have more responsibility in this, and the interviewing committee, and then SBDM. Beneath the state rating, we responded that determining the content, we don't have much say determining the content of in-service professional learning programs and establishing student discipline procedures. And the area that was most negatively rated was and that was unlike the state rating, where that teachers don't have much input on how money is spent in the school, which again makes sense because that's not really our role as educators. We have at Southern, we have a budget committee for that, and our administrators are a big part of that, as well as SBDM. Another strength at Southern Middle School was our school leadership. So above the state rating, teachers reported that we are held at a high professional standard, and we have strong community support and involvement. We have community members in and out of the school all the time, helping with science fair and clubs around the school, or extracurriculars or intramurals in the morning. So it's really great to have them in and out of the school and an influence in our school. Equal to the state rating, teachers responded, or educators responded, that the school council makes decisions that are really great for instruction as well as school leadership. And then kind of consistent from the last slide, that we have, a moderate say in support for new teachers. And interestingly, there were no areas that Southern Middle School rated significantly lower than the state did in this category. So one of our greatest areas that we need growth is professional learning. So above the state rating, our educators responded that professional learning does deepen our content knowledge, and that we are encouraged to reflect on our own teaching, which if you look down here at the beneath the state rating section, teachers responded that we don't have much time for professional learning. So that may make sense why we feel like we need to self-reflect in our teaching in order to show growth in our instructional practices and teaching methods in our classroom. And equal to the state rating, educators responded that the topics of the professional learning sessions are aligned with the school improvement plan, and that our professional learning does enable teachers to improve student learning. So those are both good. And then beneath the state rating, again, there's not enough time to provided for professional learning. And professional learning is not very differentiated for the individual teacher's needs. And then this was an interesting correlation in the data as well for areas where teachers feel insecure teaching and that they're undertrained in the following areas: differentiating instruction, teaching exceptional learners, both with learning disabilities and gifted learners, ELL students, and integrating technology into instruction. And then lastly was kind of the general category. So we were equal to the state rating in our future professional plan. So around 87 to 89% of both educators throughout the state and at Southern want to stay at their current school. But areas where we were different from the state was a particular question that I found interesting, which asked teachers which teaching condition is most important to them for promoting student learning. So there were two of those that caught my eye. And student conduct promoting student learning was the first one. So the state, only 19% of the educators in the state said that student conduct promoted student learning, where 34% of Southern's educators responded that student conduct promotes student learning. And then instruction practices and support was another one. 42% of educators in the state reported that instruction practices and support was important for student learning, but this one's kind of flip-flopped. Southern Middle School, only 28% reported that. So I think that goes to show and kind of supports that at Southern we really focus on educating through the relationships that we build with our students instead of just hammering content.